Hello everyone, welcome to the new explanation for Mapper 2. There's been some great additions to Mapper 2 compared to Mapper 1. First, it's only for Resolume 7 unfortunately, but it comes with great new options. So let's dive right into it. What I did right here is already made up a composition, 1920 1080, and also I'm gonna give you access to these files. So basically, when you start with a stage, you have an input map, and let's throw in that input map. And as you can see, it's not 1920 1080, so let's fix that first. Okay, and also I gave you this file, which is the XML output. So loading it up, it will show you these two files. This is just the output, what you have in a real case scenario. It will be just your input map translated to whatever output they want you to. It's more about this guy here, which is the stage. What I've done is I recreated the stage, which is important. I'll show you why. And this is just a 3D render I threw on top. So if you're not seeing it, it's because it's empty by default. Move it over. It's empty by default. You can just throw in your image. So in this case, it will be that guy over there. Bam. Oops. So then we have the stage. And this is really important because then I can show you what's gonna happen later with the stage. Because if I throw in content right now, it wouldn't make sense, right? This is what you'll see on your stage. If you like it, fine, but this is not what we're trying to achieve. Minimize that guy. So let's do it on layer 2 and search from Mapper. I already did. Don't worry about these guys. These are my test versions. It will be this main guy over here, Mapper 2. You know what? Let me remove it, and also I gave you access to this one. You can also download it from our website, which is a test pattern. And let me copy it to this layer for now. And yeah, so when you throw on Mapper on your clip, you won't see anything. There's a small bug in Resolume. If this one is empty, no clip loaded in, right, and you throw in Mapper, you will see everything. I'm not sure if they're gonna fix it, but I made it that way so they can at least try to find out why it's happening. But for now, if you have a clip loaded in and you throw in Mapper, oh, like that, it will just adjust himself. So it will be disabled. I mean, you won't see anything. And if you go to the first slice, you will see the options for first slice. And I have some options here. I will explain some of it as I go, but it's more like a global thing. So first slice, you can enable it, disable it. You can call it whatever you want to. You have an opacity slider and an alpha slider. I'll tell you more about it later. Slice output, it will read out all your output slices. You have a X and Y position and width and height. And now in Mapper 2 you can also rotate it. And also we have a slice for the slice sample actually from the output. I'll explain that further down. It's not advanced, but it will get you there quicker than doing this manually. You can also fit, fill and stretch. It doesn't make much sense because it will read out the entire canvas, so also this black space over here. So if we bypass Mapper for now and then scale this guy up, you'll see what happens. So if we have the none, it won't do anything. It will just crop it or fit it, fill and stretch. And fit, as you can see, it will flip out the image out of bounds, and that is what this UV is doing. You can either clamp it or repeat it, unfold it or quad it. And let's put it back to 100% and none. You can shift in it wherever you want to, change the aspect ratio if you want to. Can be nice. Rotate inside of it instead of outside. So you can rotate the outside and then rotate the inside. You can scale it, of course, and now you can also have a pretty basic kaleidoscope. And the reason you're not seeing, what's happening outside, remember, it's the entire thing. So if you want to fill it in and scale it back down, you'd see you have a kaleidoscope, and you can even shift that one if you want to. Right? Okay, so last but not least, sample flip, mirror, etc. That's more for when this guy is pretty small. No, like, let's go to, I can go to that image, I mean the iMac left, or we can use the new feature, which is use my iMac left. Hey, you can scale it in, and the scale, we have to reset it like that, so it will be inside of it. And now if you can shift it over, you can mirror it on the other side, or you can flip it so you can retest or set, or you can sample flip it. And what it will do, it will well, you can see it happening like this. It's much better to explain. See, it will mirror, it will look on the symmetry side of your sample, of your input. So even if you rotate it, it will keep things symmetrical. But let's put it that way. Instead of just flipping it, it will look on the other side of it, so it will flow over, which I use a lot. Okay, so that's a basic explanation. You have 24 slices now, so you can go crazy, and you edit it by going to each one of them and enabling it, and it will go on top, right? So let's throw it away and let me explain it to you. This section is about how to map stage with mapper using your advanced output slices. So please pay attention to this one because it's a bit tricky. In this case, this is my stage. Let me hide this. You don't always have this on site. You can take a picture if you want to. But you put on your slices from your input map in a new, like in a new output. You duplicate that guy, you have all these slices again, and instead of them being laid out for the processor, you're gonna lay them out as the stage. So now we have a representation of the stage, and things like, like this scaling, the DJ booth is sometimes slightly bigger and then it's shifted up. This is what you're seeing, and you want to map something so that it will flow from this screen to the other one, like one big screen, right? So what we can do is, now we have these guys. Now you want to do it in a visual way, and for me the best way to do it with Resolume is I would make a new layer, bypass it. See, this is layer 3 over here, and throw in my test pattern or your content, whatever you want to. And the thing to remember is, if you're gonna map something, think about what your content resolution is. In my case, most is still 1920 1080, but you can go 4K if you want to, or whatever you want. But that's your input. That's where you're sampling from. That's your starting point. So in this case, you can make a slice on stage, right? On the stage map you made. And in your input, you're gonna choose that layer. But instead of using the entire canvas, you're gonna use what you're using, right? Your resolution. So it will be 1920 1080. and this is where you're gonna use mapper from. I mean, looking from this piece of information from content and where it's gonna be laid out onto, and that's why we bypassed it, so we can use the on bypass fade it out. So on bypass, well, you can fade it if you want, but still. So this is what I would call a map on the entire stage. So let's call it, I'll just put a sign on it so I know that this is not a slice LED panel, but a map slice, a sample slice. You can even call it sample and then I don't know, stage all. And let's make a few more of them. So let's duplicate it, hide the other guy, and in this case let's do something only for the center. So you can drag while holding Alt, it will do the other side, and Shift as well, then it will keep the proportion. And then if you see, I'm snapping because this guy is on, but if I hit the control as well, it will not snap anymore. So let's do it like that, zoom a little bit in, space to pan around, and then we can do only one side as well. So it doesn't make sense, but I can show you. If you do one side, you can just, you know, scale it that way with Shift, holding Shift of course. And let's see, I want it to be centered this way. We're gonna call it sample upstage, and let's duplicate it again, and this time around we'll do only the DJ booth and the back screen. So holding Shift and the bottom of the DJ booth and top, and we'll call this center. And also let's make a new one for side screen. So somewhere in the center, Alt Shift, and let's include this column A as well. So then we call this sample for the sides, and that's it. So when you have these, remember, when you're using Mapper, it will read out your advanced output in one go, and these will be they will have like an ID. There will be ID number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So whenever you make these samples, you have to make it one time and stick to it. If you're gonna add some more later on or change the order, then you'll have to do your whole map. I mean, just selecting all the slices and stuff, you'll have to do it again. I mean, just selecting it, right? So let's do that. And also, let's not close it. Let's put it in the bottom, right? And then we can see what we're doing. And show the stage, because we already applied it on the layer. So we're good to go. This guy is bypassed anyway, so it's not bothering us right now. Believe so. No, see, because all the slices are hidden. So let's work on this guy. So this is what you would do live. So you have this layer, you have to throw a mapper, bam, and then you would go to layer 1, slice 1, and you can position it where you want to, like on the back screen, and then it's too much work, doesn't make sense. So what you can do is instead choose your back screen, and then the sample we just made, you would choose the sample for the stage all. And something to note, the way that it works is this back screen, it has to be this one inside of what's inside of these brackets. The stage, this is the name of your output, so don't choose from another one, because this one is really important. If I choose that back screen, it won't work, because it's looking to whatever is happening to this back screen compared from this stage, well, from the input to your output. And then it will map this guy from where it's sampling at onto that guy. So the relationship between those two is really important, so they should stick together, right? So back screen from the stage, back screen and stage, and that's the first one. Let's go to the next one. Enable outputs to the DJ boot, and then stage all. We're getting there. Stage 3 or slice 3, sorry. Outputs. Let's go with the ones in the center. So we have B. Enable it. That's that guy over there. So it's B, and then sample the stage all and sample flip it. And then slice 4. Enable it. In the output we choose C. And just put it up there, and then sample stage all and sample flip it. And now we have the center. Let's go to the side ones, which is slice 5, and then output to the iMac left, stage all, sample flip it, and slice 6. And we choose number letter A, there it is, stage on, flip it. Oh, forgot to enable it. And last but not least, our hexagon screen. Hexagon screen, stage all. Forgot to enable it. And we don't need to mirror it, it's a center screen. So now if I throw in content, it will flow, it will be mapped on the entire stage, right? So that's cool and all. I mean, you have a mapping for the entire stage, but the problem with it is if you go to your inputs and you go to 100%, you'll see you're upsampling a lot. That wouldn't look right. I mean, on the screen it's fine, but on the stage you would see something like that. I mean, you can get away with it if it's a camera recording from front of house, but it's nicer to have more pixels in that space. So that's why we made this guy upstage. So imagine instead of having this guy all over the stage, you're gonna use this guy in the center. So let's work with that. But first, a small tip. I usually map my slices, well, my groups to my MIDI controller, and I group them on my dashboard. So if I go to slice 1, which is the test panel, which is the back, let's do everything that's happening inside of this area on dashboard number 1. So direct the enable to that guy, slice number 2 as well, slice number 3 as well, slice number 4, which is column C as well. Yep. And now we can see, we can disable or enable it. You can see it happening on the input, but I'm paying attention mostly to what's happening here. So you can unhide it and hide it. And then for number 5, I think that was the iMac. So what's happening on this side of the stage, we'll map it on the new dashboard, and 6 as well. It's the extra column. And 7 was my hexagon screen on that guy. And I also mapped it. What I did is the keyboard shortcut, Ctrl-Shift-K. So I did A, S, D, F, G, H, etc. So I can do it, I mean, on my laptop without a MIDI controller, so I can test things out. So I can see, enable it, that guy as well, or that guy. See? So it's a good way to map your content live if you want to. I mean, if you don't want a side screen, just disable it, or only this guy. Okay, so let's continue to the upstage. And no options. Slice 8. So let's enable it. And this time we're gonna choose the back screen again, but instead of the stage all, we're gonna use the upstage. You can already see it happening. And link it to a new one. Go to new slice, enable it, in the output choose the DJ boot and the upstage. And also let me check, see, we included the columns as well, so let's do that. Not sure if I linked it. Oh, I didn't. And let's go to number 10, enable it, and choose, it's B and C, right? So B to upstage, flip it, link the enable, a new slice, enable it. I'll link it right away, and output to C, sample, flip it. Oh, I haven't chosen the sample yet, so upstage. And there you go. So this one is F in my case. So I can have that mapping in the center or that mapping. And believe me, this one looks way better than that one. And also, let me show you something else. So let's say we're gonna enable everything, A, S, D, and F. You can see the Y position is not the same. You can fix that. See, this is my Y position here, but this guy is way up there. So if I reposition this one, and this is why it's so convenient to use the slices, when I save this document and my live update here is on, it will read out the latest XML and then update everything. So when let me see, I shift it down, right? Let me see, shift it down. Let me even bypass it so we can see what's happening. So it's this guy here, and then see, there he is, and this guy is gonna be on the same level as him, right? Let's fit it again, and on item, in this case, show my content back with my mapper. And now when I hit save, remember, wait, let me see, it's F, see, it's going down. But now when I hit save, well, everything will be updated. So now let's say your center Y position, your horizon will be the same if you want to. But that's a neat thing, because now I can also go to this guy and I'll be like, you know what, I didn't like that mapping that much. Let's put it this way, let's show the bottom side of it, and then save it and do save. And I wasn't showing it, so that's it. Or you can put it wherever you want to. This Alt Shift like this, and save it. It's a little bit tricky, because what you're seeing here is this layer here, layer 3 and layer 2, they're identical, but this could have been a content as well. I mean, you can just map it, or this could have been a content, and whatever you're doing on 3, update it like this, save it, this mapper will follow, right? Okay, so let's continue with the rest, and you can see what I usually do with mapper. So we're gonna do the center one, and let's go back to test better. And the center one is more when you want to show like a video clip and you want to show as much information as possible. Then it would be nice to have most of your content visible, and disregard these columns. Just use the back and the DJ boot screen. So in this case, Let's hide that guy back again, show my pixel map a little bit, and show my layer. In this case, let me hide everything. So this one was the full-on stage center. I'm enabling my side screens and my top hexagon. And this guy, we're gonna make a new one that's gonna lay on top of these guys. So let me disable that guy and let's continue to slice 12. Enable it, link it to a new one. Choose in the output, you're gonna choose the back screen, sample the center. And I think that's it. Slice 13, enable it. In your output, we're gonna choose digibooth, sample center, and link it. So now we have that going on. Okay, so let me go over how the alpha is working. So I'm enabling the one before that, the upstage, and this is the center. And what's happening here is something I really wanted to have in Mapper 2. So instead of you can see, well, let me do it with the digibooth, it's more visible. So you have the opacity, but the opacity is not, even though they're both on now, right? So you have the upstage and the center one, but instead of showing the other one with the opacity, it's still blocking it. And a way to show it, the way that Mapper 1 works, is with the alpha on. And then you can see both of them. So whatever is being laid on top, you're gonna see it. And if that's what you want, I mean, go for it. But in my case, I don't want to use the alpha inside of the plugin. I want to be able to cover up what's happening on top of it with a higher resolution. I mean, more pixels being shown and still hiding, I mean, the previous slice, but still keep the alpha. So if you can see it down here, even if I have it full on, I still have alpha. So whatever is happening here, I still have alpha. And now you can use the opacity if you want to, but still hiding whatever has been happening before it. I mean, this is showing it, this is hiding it. And this way you can stack up mappers, I mean, your slices inside of Mapper way better. Because now you can say, show off the stage. You can say, so this is my lower res with the side and the top. But now I want to show a video clip, but I still want to keep something going on the outside. So we can just enable that inside, because that's the center of attention. And what's happening here, I mean, you're gonna see something like bleeding off, but then you have a lot of information going on here and it's still stacked on top, and you're not gonna see what's happening beneath it. You're not gonna see that bad resolution because you can just put that one on top. And that's the way it works. And let's continue then from here. I think it's 14. And let's do the same for the side screen. And then we're going to do the hexagon screen. And I think then we're finished. So let's do the side, which is I make left from the side, right? It's not enabled yet. That's why we're not seeing it. And use the sample side, which is good. And then sample flip it. So it's on the other side, like that. And then link it to something new. Go to a new slice, enable it, and choose the column we didn't forget it, but it's one that's included. And choose the side sample and sample flip it. See? So it's, if there was a circle there, I'm gonna show you in a minute, it's gonna continue on the other stage. So enable it as well. So if we have circular contents, see, it will use that as a screen. And last but not least, let's do the extra hexagon. So on this stage, on this slice, enable it, and let's put this one on the hex screen. And this one we're gonna do it live, so you can do it like this. And this is something I also wanted to include in Mapper, is the way to use Kaleidoscope. So on a stage like this, it's a hexagonal screen, so why not use a hexagon, right? And if it's not oriented the way you want to, just rotate it, right? 30 degrees. And you can even put it on a new disable enable, right? So without those guys there, you can now just throw in a clip, and you're gonna have an interesting clip playing, and this one is gonna look really good. I mean, we can even go away with this one we made. This one, yes. So you have a lower res outside, it's just playing along. We have a good resolution here, and then we have one that complements the stage because it's hexagonal and it fits the stage. So this is it. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, hit me up. If you have any ideas or suggestions for Mapper, please let me know, and I hope you have fun with it, and see you on the road. Bye bye.